What's good, people? It's your man DL Saint. Um, I made some mention in one of the previous videos about Fresh and Fit, Andrew Schultz, Flagrant 2. The two platforms came together and they had a real good discussion about dating dynamics in the Western world today. All right. So, people have been asking me, yo, what is blue pill? What is red pill? What is black pill? What does all these pills mean? Okay, fair question. I want to start off by saying I am no expert. I am not. I'm from a different generation. I don't claim to be an expert in this subject matter, but what I will share with you is what I discovered over the past year when I went looking for answers, right? So, Uncle Saint, you know everything. What answers were you seeking? I'll tell you. I was pursuing this beautiful young woman, and things went sideways like that. At one point, it just stopped. No phone calls, no interaction via Facebook, Instagram, social media, nothing. I mean, it stopped. It was sudden. You just wake up one morning, done. Couldn't get a text return, couldn't make a phone call. It took me a while it took me a week to figure it out. And then I realized, oh man, I just got ghosted. As an old dude, with all this technology, we didn't have this growing up. So for me, I don't know what ghosting is. So I went to YouTube trying to figure this out. And that led me to the red pill community. So let's talk about blue and red pill. The blue pill is a metaphor used to describe the majority of people in Western society with respect to how you are supposed to treat women as a man and how women are supposed to act. It's basically the Disney fairy tale. You're the knight in shining armor. If you're a man, you hold the door open for her, you throw your jacket down over a puddle for her, you hold a chair out for her. You pursue women, you wine and dine women, all those kind of things that gentlemen are supposed to do. And that's how we have been programmed for the most part in the Western world. In particular, I'm talking about in America. No matter what your social economic situation is, no matter how wealthy you are, no matter how unwealthy you are, this is what we have learned. If we weren't told directly from people in our life that raised us, we picked this up from watching movies. Damsel in distress is always rescued by a knight in shining armor. The evil guy with the twisty mustache and the black hat and cape is tying the poor innocent woman to some train tracks, and you have to rush up with your big white hat on to save her just before the train comes and runs her over. Right? And the one thing about blue pill and that blue pill mentality is everyone believes that happily ever after is a thing. It always goes happily ever after, right? So that is my take on blue pill in the nutshell. What's red pill? The red pill is a reference from Matrix, the movie with Keanu Reeves, where he had to make a choice, choose a blue pill and stay in the Matrix and wake up tomorrow, you go back to your boring life and you're boring, whatever. Or take the red pill and you become unplugged and you see how far the rabbit hole goes, right? Something like that. So my take on red pill is a person, man or woman, that understands the true dynamic of the dating world in America, in the West, and they accept it. That's my take on the red pill. Granted, it's mostly men, but there are women who are unplugged and are very red pill out there. There are. Not a whole lot, but they do exist. So, red pill, blue pill. These two philosophies are at odds. It's mostly the blue pill guys and the women within that world who are really upset with the red pill way of doing business. So, when I discovered these terms, it made sense to me immediately. Instantly made sense to me. When I saw the numbers, women find 80% of men unattractive based on dating apps and this, that, and the third. That made sense to me. 20% of men get 90% of the women. That made sense to me. And there are guys out there who simply don't know how to interact with the opposite gender. They just don't know. I mean, especially now with the popularity of game and gaming systems, dudes are in the house playing video games, right? It is what it is. When I came up, we were outside talking to people, learning how to get down, right? It truly was game back then for us. So I came up in an era where you knew how to talk to women. And it wasn't necessarily about seduction, but I guess that's what it is. We're just trying to figure out how to get these women, and what do we want? We wanted sex and companionship, but it was kind of all rolled up into one. And even guys like us in the streets understood that you're gonna have to have a relationship at some point. A lot of guys I came up with got married or in long-term relationships. It is what it is. But the sex part, it didn't bother us. Not bother, but we didn't have issues with getting that from women. So, back to my story. Well, if you know all this, Uncle Saint, why did you have to go looking for answers when you got ghosted? Well, the dating marketplace has changed. It has changed completely the last 15 to 20 years. It's not recognizable from what I dealt with coming up. So yeah, I had to adjust. I had to figure out the situation on the ground, adjust to it, make my corrections, and move forward. And that's what I did. So the problem with the red pill guys, most of them are hurt in the sense that they've never got the access to women that they wanted. So they had to put on a persona to act a certain way to get the attention. It's almost like they had to become someone different to get the attention, to get these women. And I guess that's when you had the mastering the game and the pickup artist thing that kind of hit. I didn't know anything about that. Although I was out in the world when it was going on, I didn't know about the pickup artist, but what I've discovered and what I've read up on it, I saw it in action in the streets. I didn't know what it was, but I saw it in action. It was dudes, it was real nerdy dudes in the spots getting on with these fine women, and I didn't understand it. I was in LA at the time. I just thought these dudes must have some money. Maybe they're promoters, they got some clout, they got some fame, they got something. I didn't realize they were out studying, reading books, and being taught how to do this. And it was effective. They were getting it. And some they still are getting it. But I think they didn't like it. They had to really act a certain way, and they didn't like it. Yeah, they got their goal. They got to bag these women, but they were still empty, because the ultimate goal for a lot of these guys is to get into that relationship and live happily ever after. And you see, that's the key. Even though they're in this red pill world, they still want that blue pill outcome. And it's kind of like a fantasy. Like, it's really hard to get that. It's not as advertised. It's not a movie. It's real. It takes a lot of work to get it. So, what does that mean today? Today, there are a lot of men, like I said, that 80% of men that women don't see are out there looking for answers, and they are training themselves up as if they're going to battle. And for them, it is a battle. It truly is the battle of the sexes. They are going out there getting armed with this information, this tried and true techniques, and they're going out there and they are finding success. The problem is, they'll get into it, They present themselves a certain way. They use these techniques to get women. They get the woman that they want, this beautiful woman that they thought they would never be able to get, and they revert to the old ways of doing things. They go back to wanting to treat her right. They want to treat her like a princess. They want to wine and dine her. They want to provide her with everything and keep her happy and pedestalize her. They want to do that. And the red pill doctrine tells you, if you do that, if you treat her like a star, she's going to treat you like a fan. And then they lose that one. And then they get angry and the whole process starts over again. So maybe that's why some of these guys seem so angry when you're talking about red pill versus blue pill and all this sort of thing. Maybe. Again, I'm no expert. But I'm out there. So Fresh and Fit is a podcast. There's definitely teaches red pill theories. And these guys are misunderstood. They go viral a lot with things that they say, these little bitty clips that get out there, and then people get all upset, like the blue pill people, and then you hear terms like white knight. You get these guys who come up and like, you guys are evil. They don't listen to the content. You really have to go and listen to the content. They have over 1,000 videos on their YouTube alone. You got to scrub through that. I've watched legit 85 to 90% of their content. It's a lot. And look, I've said this to Myron the Fresh, they're friends of mine. I don't agree with everything they say, but I understand what they're doing. And it makes sense. They are empowering guys to get out there into the world and have a little bit of success with women. Now, on the other side of that, women have changed a lot. The dating landscape has changed drastically. And you still have women who want traditional men, but they're not necessarily traditional women. And you have this dynamic going on, especially now with women want big things. They want the fancy designer bags. They want the shoes. They want this high style life that they can't afford on their own. And they expect men to give them that, which I don't understand. It wasn't always this extreme. And with Instagram, especially Instagram, not so much Facebook, but Facebook as well, but in other social media, TikTok and all that, but with Instagram, women have access to men all over the planet. I'm talking about top 1% dudes. So a woman could be on a scale of 1 to 10, a 6, maybe not that pretty in the face, but have like an amazing body. She's getting hit up by guys who are like 1%. And these guys will fly these women all over the world to give them an experience. And the guy gets sexual access. The woman gets her experience and she goes back to her life. Almost like the Cinderella kind of thing. Only difference is the prince doesn't come back with a glass slipper looking for her anymore. He done had his fun. He's done. He's dealing with dimes over here too. The 5s, the 6s, the 7s, that's just something for them to do. Something to have around. They don't really care. And they have so much money, it doesn't bother them to spend a little bit of money. So for a 1% guy, for him to spend $1,500 on some woman to fly her to some city so he can have fun with her, right? $1,500, say it's $5,000. It's nothing to him. It might be the equivalent of you out there going and spending $300 on a nice meal that you do maybe once or twice a month or something like that. It's the equivalent. They have that kind of bread. So in their mind, it's like, I'll just bring her out here. We'll have a little fun. If she's tripping, I'll send her back. It doesn't matter, and get another. Now, that's the top 1% dude. Once this woman engages with this guy, she believes she's on that level now. So even though she's a 6 on a scale of 10, now that she's messing with a 1% guy, she's only going to mess with 1% guys moving forward. And she is going to forsake all others. Now, this is where people like Fresh and Fit catch a lot of heat because they expose this uncomfortable truth. And it is uncomfortable truth. When a woman who is average, you've heard the term average at best that Kevin Samuels made popular. When a woman is average at best, she will not accept an average guy. She won't do it. She would rather go old, childless, right, and be by herself and have a bunch of pets than to have a nice life with a good man who's average. That's what's going on. So the red pill world teaches and uses the numbers on these uncomfortable truths, and they arm guys with this knowledge and say, hey man, go on out there, but understand that the women that you're going to run into and the women that you capture using these techniques may not be suitable for marriage. Red pill also teaches that getting married in the West is a bad deal for the man, which we all know, right? Most divorces are initiated by women. We're talking 70, maybe 80% of divorces are initiated by women. You can go find those numbers, right? Most men don't divorce. They stay in the situation. They cool with that. They'll deal with the situation. Women do. If there's a child involved, 90% of the time, the children are going to go to the mom, right? So the father will lose his kids within the court system. And if they were married, I think over 10 years, I don't know if I've always got 10 years in my head for some reason, but if you're married long enough, you're going to have to pay alimony if you're a man. So you're going to lose your child and you have to pay child support, right? Whether you were a great dad, it doesn't matter. You're not going to get, it's really difficult to get joint physical and legal custody, and there's no child support involved. And you have to pay alimony, right? Child support stops at 18 or 22 or something like that, depending on what state you're in. Alimony only stops when the woman gets married again. And if it's a lot of money in alimony, she's never going to get married again, right? You're going to lose your home, right? Half of your stuff is gone. You're probably going to lose a home, right? And you have to start all over as a guy. So getting married in the West is not a real good deal. There's a lot that you're putting out there. It's a lot of exposure that you're taking on. Now, people like Fresh and Fit podcast, Myron Gaines and Fresh Prince CEO, they simply say this: let us give you the numbers. Let us tell you what you are risking. And if you want to go out there and do it, then fine, go out there and do it. But at least you know. So if it doesn't go well, if you fall into the half of measures that don't work, you got no one to be upset at. The only person you can be mad at is you, because you knew better. As opposed to a guy who's been blue pill his whole life. He's bought into the Disney fairy tale. He gets into that situation. He loses everything. That guy is going to be crushed. And a lot of guys actually go out and they do things to themselves. Or in extreme cases, they do things to other people. Either way, it's a bad deal. So that's my quick little breakdown. Red pill, blue pill. I didn't talk about black pill. And I'm sure I'm going to revisit this on the Downrange podcast with my co-host James Swanson. So I'll put some links below when we get that up and running so you can come and check it out, because it's a really good debate when the two of us get to talking about it, because we do come from opposing sides of the argument. So yeah, and if you're in the 20% of men, like if you're over 6 feet, you make a good living, you know how to talk to people, right? You're in shape. All this stuff to you sounds foreign because you've had pretty much your pick of the litter when it comes to women, because you're in the top 20%, and that's what women look for. If you're in the bottom 80, this might resonate with you. You're the guy that always gets friend zoned. You're the guy that can't really get a date. You're the guy that has to leave with his wallet, right? And that's not just y'all 80%, but a lot of people do that. The dating marketplace is, if you're short, if you're like average height or below, if you're 5'6", 5'7", or shorter, women just ain't looking at that. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in order for you to become desired by the majority of women. And I'll leave you with this. Fresh and Fit always preaches on their podcast. You have to work on yourself and be the best version of yourself. And when you do that, when you get your finances together, when you get your fitness together, right, then women will come. And you're not building yourself up and making the best version of yourself so you can get the women. You're doing it so you can deal with the problems that comes with dealing with women, right? And that's, in a nutshell, that's, in my opinion, that's a really good strategy. Build yourself up first. Get yourself together first. Get out of mom's house. Get out of the basement, right? Get yourself a career. Get yourself some financial holdings. Get some real estate. Get you some stocks. Get you some crypto. Get whatever you need to get. Get your portfolio together. Get into the gym. Eat right. Get your fitness together. And you'll be surprised how many women come to you. So, all right, that's just a nutshell of blue pill versus red pill. Again, I am no expert. So if you have better facts than I do, please leave a comment below and let me know. I'd love to see it. Love to check it out. All right. It's your man, DL Saint. I'll talk to y'all later.